It's still Negro, homie.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
All right, man. So let's get into it, man. So there's been some crazy. We're kind of late to this reaction, so we're gonna do a reaction video, and this is gonna be a reaction video to the Tiffany Haddish Aries Spears video. Now we decided to do the reaction video. We were talking about it amongst ourselves, and there's actually a mix. What do you want to call it? A mixed feeling about this, right?
I say it's very controversial. I don't know about
Because you feel one way, and
I say it's mixed.
I think I'm the only one that feels something different about it, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, listen, we all got our takes on it, and I think it's based on our experiences. So we just have different ways we view this. So it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be hot, right?
Yeah.
So shit, let's get this shit popping. So again, this is about Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears. There's a video that surfaced on Funny or Die, not on Funny or Die, or I guess they came back on
Funny or Die.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Let us know about it, Marcel.
So the two comedians are being sued by two siblings going by the name of Jane Doe and John Doe. They both are saying that they've been molested by the two comedians.
They've been molested, like actually molested by Tiffany Haddish
and Aries Spears.
So like grooming and
grooming.
And then I guess
grooming.
there was a report saying that she taught the other girl how to mimic fellatio in another video. See, we haven't seen that video, but what we have for y'all today, we have the actual video of the little boy. Now, I wanted to show the actual video with the boy so y'all can see what the hell, so we can have
on.
Right, because it's kind of hard to talk about something without seeing the video.
Definitely.
But so we have the video. It's edited, and we didn't edit. We got it. We got it. You know, from the low. You know what I'm saying? Right. But we got the video, right? So we're gonna play the video, and as we play the video, we're gonna have our thoughts on it. So if you haven't seen the video, here it is. If you don't want to see the video, just watch it still. You're good, but just cover up the bottom of your screen on your phone with your thumb. Okay, goddamn. All right. So it starts off with, I guess. Now, see, real quick, what is your take on it from what you saw? Because you've seen the whole video.
For what I saw, I feel like that it can definitely be viewed as, you know, kind of like I would say grooming, molestation, as far as like physical touching and, you know, unwanted touching. I don't see that much in the video, but it's definitely grooming.
I think y'all
look at that.
Fucking out of y'all's mind for thinking that is grooming.
I think it's grooming because you're showing a kid, you know, stuff that a kid shouldn't see and experience in that time and at that age. you got to keep in mind at the end of the day, these still are children. You know what I'm saying? Whether the parents like it, whoever like it, is still something that a child shouldn't experience, as far as like sitting naked in front of someone that's not your parent.
Now, see, when you say naked, what comes to your thought? When you say naked, what comes to your thought?
When no clothes.
No clothes, right?
Okay,
No clothes.
all right, okay, underwear.
Yeah, but see, there's a difference though.
You don't. I mean, I would feel as a parent. I'm not even a parent, but I feel like as a parent, that would be, kind of weird at the most. You know what I'm saying?
What is your take,
That's
Darius?
definitely Holly weird.
I know we're not trying to get all the way there yet, but you just hit a key point, though. You just said, like, if I was the parent, if I was the parent, why did the kid get to that point where he's in the video with underwear on?
What's going on to make them feel that was okay and they have that child that comfortable? That's what I'm saying.
So here's the video. Here you go. Let's watch it. Oh, Tiffany. Sorry.
I need you to do me a big favor. Please, can you do me a favor and watch TJ while I run to the bank? No problem. I'll be right back. Look, whatever Uncle Pete asks you to do, okay?
Uncle Pete.
Thank you so much. If you need anything, just call me, okay? See.
Cousin Pete. So this is the part right now. So the little boy is, I guess, Uncle Pete watching the little boy. Little boy is in his skimmies, his undies, right? And he's on the floor right now. So they have it blanked out because it's kind of weird. It's just, copyright. I don't know what it is. But he's playing with a little toy and he's just in his underwear. That's it, right? No shirt, no socks, no shoes, just his underwear. Aries Spears is pretending to be perverted Uncle Pete, and he is looking through a paper with, and right now in the actual video, it's crazy because the R. Kelly song is playing.
Kelly's playing. Right?
So it's like it's reading it's giving you like pedophile I'm sicko vibes right now. So that's the point of the video, right? And what is the video called, Marcel? It's called
Through a pedophile's eyes.
Through a pedophile's eyes, right? So then he's over there being really just freaking weird, and then it's zooming in on the kid's butt. And it's not really a zoom in. Like, these words mean something. It's not really zoom in. He's looking through the paper with the eyes,
right?
And all you can see is the butt. It's not necessarily a zoom in. Like, I don't know if that means anything to you, but he's just doing some real creepy shit, as you can see right there. It's weird, right? It's very weird. So right now, it's like, did he just lick his tongue through the eye hole?
Tongue through the eye.
And is this boy jacking off a truck, a toy train? And then I guess this is the part where he sprays baby oil on the boy. So he puts baby on. It's really weird. Okay, so I don't need to do any more commentary on this part. Okay, so from what we've seen so far, what is your thoughts, Darius?
I mean, if you're looking at that from this context, see, here's the issue. We're looking at this from already being biased,
Right.
from hearing other people's opinions about it and watching it. And, so you're already going in thinking one particular way.
Yeah. Right.
You're not even thinking about the comedy and whether or not you think there is comedy or not. But our opinions are already biased by everybody else's
The narrative
opinions
has
out
been
there.
set.
Yeah. So
I see, and when I watch this is my thing, and this is, y'all are gonna hate me for saying this. I think y'all are stupid for one. Not you. Everyone who finds something wrong with this, I think y'all are weird, right? I think y'all are very weird. Now, at what point? They call me the devil's advocate, but I'm not trying to be an advocate at this point. I really believe this, right? At what point are we going to allow art to be art?
So would you consider this actual art? When you think of art, you think of something that's kind of like, it could be something inspirational. It could be something that's a beautiful, or something that has a meaningful impact on you. Like something like this is almost like traumatizing to a child. But see, you know what I'm saying?
But see, this would be traumatizing to a child if this was a video found in Uncle Pete's personal stash, right? This is a skit, mind you.
I feel like it's worse because they found it online. They didn't see a problem with it till 5 years later.
Have you seen the movie Precious?
yes,
There's a lot of things in that video that kids were acting out that was telling a story. Now, this is a video called Through the Eyes of a Pedophile, right?
Right.
This is an awareness type video,
Okay.
right? There's so much that's in this video. This has nothing to do with rearing.
See, that's-
Let me finish.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with rearing. What is it called? Grooming a child or molesting a child, because they never molested a child. From what we see in this video, right? If something happened off camera, that's another conversation. But from what we're seeing, this is more of like an informative video. Because the thing about it, which is also crazy, Tiffany Haddish as the parent was leaving this child with Uncle Pete to go party, to go to the post office at 10 p.m. and to go do different things, some random errands, dressed up to go to the post office in a skirt, which you'll see in a little bit. And this is an issue with mothers, not mothers, parents. I don't want to put it on the women. Parents leaving their children in questionable situations to go out and be an adult and not being a mother. But listen, that's what this video is highlighting, right? This is what the video is highlighting. Everyone is forgetting that, because this is an issue that's really going on, right? But instead of addressing the art and the issue that it is trying to uncover and put in the forefront of people's face, we're going to talk about the video, not the message that the video is trying to show. Because at the very end of the message, it says, know who you watch, who you leave your kids with.
Right.
Now, the stupid part of this thing, it had no business being on Funny or Die. This was not a comedy. Yeah. This had no business being on Funny or Die.
So you're looking at it as like an informative video.
I'm looking for it as what it was delivered to us as.
It had to be delivered to us as a comedy skit to them. That's how they looked at it.
No,
it was supposed to be funny, right?
It was their comedic take on an issue.
Real issue.
So it was supposed to be like a PSA.
Okay.
But they put their comedic spin on it. The problem was that they probably should have had some other individuals look at it. Maybe they did, but they probably should have had some other people look at it just to, say, hey, look, maybe you should put a few more comments in here and there so people understand that this is a PSA, that you're not actually condoning this. So what's happening? And here's the thing.
Or they should did at the very beginning. Hey guys, I'm putting it out there. We're not condoning this. This is just at the end of it or something. So yeah, I feel you on that.
Right.
No, that's the thing right there. Because if it was a PSA, that would have been at the beginning. It was meant to be taken as this is about to be funny, y'all. Y'all know this is a real thing. Let's make a joke out of it. That's how this kind of comes off.
But that's comedy though. We talk about Michael Jackson and R. Kelly in a comic way all the fucking time.
And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But when you do stuff like that and you put it in the context of, it's supposed to be funny, you supposed to have some type of familiarity of as far as a joke. Like where's the funniest?
I don't know.
Where's the funny in this? This is kind of direct and dry.
Many comic takes on stuff that I just didn't think it was funny at all. So I mean, obviously comedies, what's funny is in the eyes of the beholder. Like we don't all see the same thing as funny, but their point was to try to put a comic spin on it. And what I was saying, like he was saying, was they should have put something earlier on, in there to let people know, hey, look, it's a little bit distasteful, but the whole point of this, it is a PSA, and we're just presenting it in a comedic way. But because they didn't have other eyeballs looking at it and say, hey, you might want to add this in. We got the issues. But my thing is, and not to jump ahead, but I really want to say to the audience, if you haven't already seen this, I want you to think, what would you have thought if you had saw this video when it was put out back in 2014, whenever it dropped, and you didn't have the opinions and bias of everyone else first? How would you have viewed this video?
I think we're at a place right now to where people aren't receiving content and art as content and art. It's like people are receiving content and art and they're receiving it as what should be put out there, right? Mm-hmm. So at this point, it's not like I'm gonna find the genre that I like and enjoy what I like. They're watching everything and being like, well, this should be out there. Oh, this shouldn't be out there. Oh, this should be out there.
It's almost like they're trying to, pit a, control.
He says pit too, not put. He does it too.
It's kind of like they're trying to develop or create a environment as far as like TV and what their kids should watch or what people should watch. They're trying to put some type of barrier on it. People always complain about, kids see this on TV and they react. So imagine if, a kid that age, a 6-year-old, 7-year-old seeing that, they're not gonna get the message in that. They're gonna look at that and be like, oh, that's weird, or oh, are we supposed to do this?
But a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old who's been molested and is being molested will totally get this message, and then they'll understand that it's wrong. Real quick, let me finish though. And they also say that when it comes to molestations, like 1 out of every 13 households that someone is getting molested in as we speak. So as we're talking about that and we say shit like that, this is more of a common situation and issue than it really is. And it's to the point to where like it's hitting a nerve. There was that movie Cuties we were talking about. I don't want to go into that, but it was about those young cheerleading girls and they were dancing provocative and stuff. And the point of the movie is the how to not have your kids live that lifestyle, and how little kids shouldn't chase the allure of being sexy when you're too young and that glamour and shit, right? And people got mad because the art what art represents, or art is a reflection of life, right?
You know, I know what they should. Here's what they should have done. Have you seen shows or little skits or something? They'll do a skit or it'll be a movie or a show or a TV show, and at the end of it, they'll have the actors speak about the issue and like have a little line run underneath. If you're to call 911, call this number. Call they should have did something.
So
like
it should have been a
at
commercial
the end of that. Yeah, I mean at the end of it, because look,
to make it a real PSA.
Yeah, exactly. If they're really trying to push the idea, look, we need to let people know this stuff is happening, then they should have added some actual value to that comedy and toward the end.
But see, I don't think that's what they were doing though. I think they were trying to make just a funny skit out of a real situation.
Dave Chappelle. Go ahead.
It's not. I don't think they put it in a sense of. I don't think they came up with this idea and say, you know what, let's put a PSA about molestation and uncles touching their nieces and nephews. I don't think that was their goal with this. They were like, hey, this is a real situation that's going on. Let's make a joke out of it.
But at the very end, they had a PSA message at the very end of the video.
All right, well, let's cover our asses while we're doing it too. Like that's basically.
Or let's explain why we're doing.
But if that's why they didn't. Well, if that's the case, they should have went into that. And like you just said, they should have went into more detail what the message was in this video, but they didn't do that.
So is this a conversation of molesting and grooming, or is this a conversation of not completing your art?
I wouldn't say it's molesting, but I would definitely say it's some conversation of grooming.
But how is it grooming when it's a role? It's a role. Grooming. You understand they have kids out there shooting people, murdering people, selling drugs, and as we put that out there, are we going to say that they actually sold drugs? Or the actor that is selling drugs, now they're actually a drug dealer? Or now we're going to say that, like, at what point?
It's the message that you put out. It's not about whether they're doing it or not. It's about someone.
Bad content.
And
that's not molestation.
It's bad taste, and it's I would say it's more so of grooming because of the fact that you pit these kids in a situation, whether you want to look at it how you want to look at it or not.
Yeah.
The fact is, you pit these young kids in a situation where they was experiencing these things that normally an adult wouldn't do to them.
See,
it's acting though.
That's where I want to pump the brakes on. Wait, no, but I want to pump the brakes on.
It's a point where you don't do with kids. Like you can't determine that. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. So, but the thing is, this was a skit, right? And I can guarantee you, these scenes were not flowing. Like the scene where they had the kid doing the thing with the truck, or whatever it was he was doing. I guarantee they didn't have like Ari Spears sitting there going, whatever.
In real life.
Acting weird. He was probably just on the set by himself. Everybody's standing behind the camera, and they're saying, go, all we want you to do is take the truck and go like this. So that is not grooming unless you give some context to, like you letting the kid know, hey, when you do this, this is implied.
And I like this. So when you play with your toy, this is how you should play with it. But and I'm teaching you how to play with the truck in hopes to one day I want you to play with me like that. Listen, there's like a purpose. Like you have to understand grooming and molesting somebody is an actual thing, right?
Yeah,
and Tiffany Haddish is also someone that has been molested from what I understand in her story of her past, right? Mm-hmm. So these are issues that are really huge issues that really take place in life. So to sit here and downplay it, someone who's actually been molested and groomed, really not just being like, oh, this is what I've been through, someone that's actually been through that shit, to look at these kids, and if this is if this video is the only evidence that has ever shows that they've been treated like this in a skit, a written skit, right? Mm-hmm. then how can you put molesting and grooming into it?
Well, I'm not saying molesting. What I'm saying is I see how people can get that molesting out of it.
That's my point. How though?
But because they look at what's being presented in the.
It's so if you see someone selling drugs or shooting someone in a skit, are
Yeah.
they a drug dealer and a murderer?
If you see somebody setting that as an example, doing that in the skit, of course you're going to look at that and be like, oh, okay, this is based off realistic events. So not that this person is actually doing it, but they're representing that as far as.
But representing isn't preparing them to do that in real life, like because it's acting. So again, we have seen movies where they show kids. Wait. No. We have seen movies where they'll have kids, use a gun or a knife or be thugs and shoot someone, and it's a kid. So are they grooming that kid to
be a murderer?
Yeah, to be a thug?
Indirectly, you could say, because who's to say that? All right, just like with this current situation,
And we got a lot of people that need to be sued right now.
I believe it. Holly weird. Like I said, Holly weird. I definitely. But let's say, for instance, like you indirectly are grooming them, whether you want to realize it or not. Let's say later on in life, and they've already been through this with the whole Aries Spears and stuff, and later on in life, like they said, they traumatized from this event. That may not have been their intentions.
Sorry.
That may not have been their intentions.
So because
But it
they're
happened.
saying they're traumatized after not getting paid initially.
Who's to say that's the case? That's the parents. That's the parents. How the kids feel. How does the kids feel? That's
So
the
now,
parents.
But before we
people
dig into
say
that,
anything to get what they want to get.
Of course. But who's to say they're lying? Who's to say they actually?
This
They may actually feel like that.
if we're going off of just this video, mind you.
So these kids feel it doesn't. That don't matter.
No, wait.
Like,
So first of all, I think we're jumping the tracks.
They could be lying.
We're jumping the tracks because number one, we don't know.
We don't
have information to know why
Go
they
off of
decided
what we saw.
to do this. Like we don't know if the kids were impacted or not. I haven't read any material, seen anything that said the children that acted in this scene 7-8 years later have said blah 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 blah. So I don't want to address that right now because we're making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
But to go back to the whole grooming thing, if just acting a role is grooming a child to do something, then school plays have a problem because a lot of times school plays, there's some children that have to play a bad kid role. Or they got to play, if it's being all cute and funny. Hey, you guys are, the cops and you guys are the bad guys and y'all run around. So are the kids that playing bad guys being groomed to be thieves?
There's a movie. There's a movie that was The Hate You Give, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? You what?
I haven't seen.
You owe me your black card. But The Hate You Give, right? And it was about a black kid getting shot by the cops, right? There was a black kid on that movie that was doing a lot of bad stuff. I think reacting, rebelling, and are we grooming him to be a cop murderer?
I would say if you're
Let's be realistic.
I'm about to be realistic right now. Let's say I'm a kid actor or whatever. I'm an actor, and you telling me to be the bad guy, do this, do that, do that. All right, I'm doing these things. Not to say that I'm gonna go out here in real life and do them, but you don't know. You don't know what the effect that had on me mentally. I might have to go. I might actually leave the set feeling like, dang, I'm really feeling like a murderer, or I'm really feeling like a killer, and I act on these things.
But you were paid. That's a job. You're paid to do that.
Whether I'm paid or not.
No.
Still,
time out. You were paid to do that. So that
doesn't change.
Hold on. But listen. The reason why it makes sense is because if I'm paid to do a skit, right? That is not reality. I'm an actor, right? So you
can't make it that black and white.
No, but you can't.
The money part honestly has nothing to do with it.
No. At that point, and hear me out. Let me try to explain what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
All right. So if I'm telling you to do something as an actor with a script, right? This is the most fantasy shit you can ever see, right? You're taking on a role with the script, with the screenplay and all this stuff, cameras and everything, production, right? So you're going out there and you're acting out a role, right? You're allowed to do that and you're being compensated, right? At this point, that's a job, right? This isn't a reality, real life. They're not teaching you X, Y, and Z.
But
right?
so you don't. So that's what I'm saying. if they're
You know what you're getting into. Again, it's a
kid,
job.
Okay, that's a difference from being an adult actor and a kid actor. A kid actor, you can go out here and say, "Oh, okay, I'm just doing a job." But if you're as a kid, your mind, you're still growing. You're naive. You're learning stuff. You're picking up stuff constantly. So like when they're telling you to do this, do that, and you may feel and get into that acting, and then after the cameras are gone, people walking off the studio, you leaving the studio, you going back into the real world. You've already done acted on these things, and you probably felt good about it. So you might implement that into your real life.
Okay.
And this is how these kids become traumatized off of one skit.
See, here's the problem I have with this. Number one, it sounds like we're not giving kids enough credit for ability to understand something and know when something is being pretend and when something is like
reality.
You could determine that. But
wait, Mark. Whether the difference between something that's pretend and actually like we're teaching you something to go out and do in real life, right? Because again, how many times kids on the street, like at least when I was a kid, I mean, we hardly see kids outside now. But when I was a kid, we go out and play bad guys, you know, cops and robbers and all that stuff. But when I played a robber or the bad guy, I didn't go around going, "Oh my gosh, I think I should be a robber," right? Because I understood that I was just playing a role that was just part of the play game, right? So it didn't make me feel like, oh, I need to go out and do it now because I understand
that's not
pretend.
your lifestyle,
right? I understand that it's pretend, and so I'm pretty sure in most of these situations, I would think, anyways, that they do have someone on set, some individual on sets that let the kids know after certain kinds of scenes that, hey, look, this is all pretend. You know, talking them through it, making sure that they're not internalizing it.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
But see, how are you going to direct a director? How are you going to get a kid to do what you want the kid to do, right? Or an adult or anybody. You have to direct them. You have to give them direction. You have to show them. You have to understand now this is just play, right? So this is what we're going to do. You talk to a child as a child is.
But who are you to determine how that child takes that information, the experience that they went through on set into real life? Yeah, okay, they know it's fake or whatever, but it still happened. It still has some type of impact on them, whether that's a positive or negative impact or not. It still has
from one skit. See, now
terrible things happen in seconds to people when they're younger, and it traumatizes them to in their adulthood. They remember,
but then it's not a controlled environment.
We don't know how it took.
We're going off of this video. That's all. You're assuming shit, right?
I'm not.
No, you really are. You're adding other stuff into it.
I'm just saying. I'm giving my perspective.
Off of one skit.
I'm forgiving my perspective on how this one skit could have affected these kids. That's all I'm doing.
Off of one skit.
If these kids are saying that they're traumatized, if we're going off of what happened in the skit, we should got to go off of what's being reported, right? These kids are saying they're traumatized. So okay, they're traumatized.
When was the video released?
In 2014.
It's 2022. Okay.
Who said they didn't repress all this traumatized?
After checks didn't clear.
It don't matter. They was kids when it happened. So who's to say that the money even mattered then? We don't know that though. That's what I'm saying. Like whether they lying or not, okay, people lie about it, get money all the time. I get that part. I'm not discrediting that at all.
No, but here's the question. So this thing with the Tiffany and Spears and the kid stuff, this is not the first time any kids acted out in some kind of role that can be questionable. It's been done for years.
I can name thousands.
So then my question is, has there ever been a case that's come out or something that's come out and said, hey, because Johnny B acted out these roles when they were little, look how they act like they're messed up. Not because, I'm not talking about because of cultural things, because they got rich and they messed with the wrong kids and did dope. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about because they acted out some scene, played some role, now they're impacted and affected. But is there anything like that?
I'm pretty sure there's actors and actresses.
But even on that, when you talk about the kids that grow up and do dope and stuff, that is a lifestyle. They didn't do dope because of the role they played.
I know that's
they did
what
dope.
They chose to.
Listen, no. They didn't choose to. They did dope for the environment they're in with Hollywood and the actors. And they started to partake in that lifestyle, right? So and some kids have been molested being actors and actresses in Hollywood, right? But that is a lifestyle that they lived, not a role they played, right? So saying that someone off of one role, in a stupid role, mind you, a stupid role, it wasn't anyway, off of one role, you're saying that they were molested off of what we've seen.
I'm not saying that they were molested,
but
they were. I would say this is basically what I'm saying. Even though people have their views on it, people have their opinions on it, you have to think in that child's perspective. This child's been exposed to something that normally doesn't happen to a child, in a sense of like, oh, okay, that's just okay.
He's an actor.
Are the kids actors? Are they actors?
He's in the movie. He's in the skit. He's acting at that point.
So look.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's not. You can't say he's a professional actor.
Yes, he's a professional. He's an actor.
All right, so that's just like somebody going to get your kid or somebody else's kid and being like, "Hey, do this real quick. We go act like we go act like pedophiles, and you just be the victim or whatever."
And if
as a kid, you gonna be thinking like, "Okay, I guess this is cool."
Or could
that's
the kid,
why
no,
the
no,
kid.
would the kid say it's cool, or would the kid learn from the situation? Because like if before we do, if we I would think, again, we weren't there. We don't know if they did any prepping. We have no idea if they spoke to these kids and talked about anything.
Can we assume that? Because that's normal what you do when you make movies and roles.
No,
I
don't know that. The way you got to go off what's facts.
So, but with that in mind, Dan, you just made me... See what I was trying to say, damn it. I had a point too.
You're talking about prepping, and we don't know if they prepped. We don't know if they had a conversation about it. We don't... You don't remember? It'll come.
Yeah, no. But I do have another point.
Go ahead.
Okay. So again, back on the idea of them, whether a child can tell the difference between pretend acting and real life situation. If we are saying that the children cannot tell the difference, that they can be impacted just by acting out a role like that, then can we safely say that it's okay? And this is going to be slightly off topic, but it's kind of not. Can we say that it's okay for parents to allow their children to go through transition, sex identity transition?
At that young of an age.
Are they intelligent enough to even know that? Like, think about how big that is. And if you can do that with a kid and think that they can know better, because think about it when we were kids. Like, I've known boys, that didn't like to play ball with the boys, right? They just weren't competitive. But they're grown men now. They're grown men.
He didn't like to play ball with the boys. He liked to play balls with the boys.
Play with balls with the boys.
Today's subject is molestation, by the way.
All right. Anyway, let's get back on track. Talking about balls here.
All right, man. Get back to the balls. Go ahead.
But they're grown men now, and they're in relationships with women. So
wait, what?
Listen to what I'm trying to say. A lot of times
they thought they were gay, or you think they're gay, but they got older.
Them, because if the kid's like, oh well, I'd rather play with the doll, and then they're having all these meetings and talks with the kid. Well, it's okay for you to do this and do that and do this. And Johnny, do you feel like this and do you feel like that? Mm-hmm. Like, I can see how you can easily influence a kid to think maybe he's one thing that he's not, and so it makes more it makes more sense to let the kid grow up. And when he gets 18, if he still feels that way, then let him make the decision and change at that point.
All right, so that's probably
so that's what I'm saying. It's like if we can do transition changes at an early age, then I think kids can act out roles like this and not be influenced. But
when is art? And this is my point. This is my biggest point.
Hope everybody understood where I was going with.
No, I get it.
I get what you're saying.
When is art going to be art? And when is, if you don't understand the art, then I personally feel you should not be able to critique it if you don't understand it. No one ever once said that this was a message about what not to do. Now, mind you, in the video, should I play the second half of the video real quick? Go ahead. So right now I'm going to play the second half of the video for everyone out there. Just check this out. So we watched the first part. He was in the living room with a little toy,
right.
With his underwear on, not naked. Words have meaning, right?
I'm just gonna say with underwear on, my people. But
why be proper, right? What the fuck is that? Who does that, right? Who speaks properly with words? So on this one,
Oh yes, Uncle Pete. can you watch TJ for me? I need to run to the, I gotta run some air. I need to go to the cleaners, and I should be coming back. Okay.
So you see, the point of this part of the scene is to show how she is leaving her child with somebody to go. I'm
and not doing her due diligence.
I'm just gonna get her back, right? And not as a parent, right? Not as a responsible parent. And Uncle Pete, who is obviously, he's that uncle that most families have, right? And you're leaving him like this, right? So I'm gonna continue playing it.
All right, baby.
Thank you.
You got it.
You got
Spend
it.
a little bit of Michael Jackson time with the boy, huh?
See right there.
A little bit of Michael
there.
Jackson time, right?
What's a little Michael Jackson time? Wait, what are you talking about?
And right now,
I was best friends with Penn State Sandusky.
now listen, that shit is all.
What the hell?
If y'all don't know who Sandusky is, he is the coach at Penn State who was allegedly having sex or spying on the college football players in the shower with him. Joe Paterno situation. I don't know all that is. Look up Sandusky and shower, and you'll see it'll be a bunch of stuff coming up. But he was an old perverted coach that was doodling little football players.
A doodle.
They have a touch but don't tell policy.
And then right here, I believe R. Kelly's songs are playing, or the kid is in the water. And then he has the newspaper. And then, of course, boom, he's looking through the newspaper. Now, none of this is real, right? This is all a skit. I guarantee it's just a skit, man. Like, is it a stupid skit? Maybe. But there's the movie, like I said before, Precious. And in that movie, Precious, a lot of bad things were happening to kids in that movie to show, to give awareness of stuff that goes on. It wasn't grooming. It wasn't molesting. It was, weird shit. And then so that happens. He puts water on the kid and he does a bunch of stupid stuff. It's censored, so we don't want you to watch it. And then he jumps into the bathtub with the little kid and goes on to the next scene. This right here is another telling.
Watch TJ for me. I gotta run to the post office.
10 p.m.
10 p.m. post office. Dressed up, makeup.
It's the 24-hour post office. Hopefully they playing that new train. But look, anyways, his
Watch who you leave your kids with.
Everything should be cool. Shouldn't be any problem to you. If you need anything, just call. Okay.
So this is also something that I find very telling in this part. So now the kid is now in the point of being the molester, right? And of course, as you say, when someone is molested, it breeds a molester, right? Mm-hmm. And then of course they're playing R. Kelly. That's the joke behind it. But there's a lot of truth in this, right? And in this scene is literally showing the tables have turned, right? There's so much parents that aren't watching their kids, parents that prefer to go out and party, do whatever they want to do, and leaving their children behind with people that they shouldn't leave them with. And then look, it just gets weird. And now the little boy, is now the aggressor. But that's life. That's what really happens. A lot of people that molest kids now were molested when they were younger. They look at that as a normal way of living, and it's really not. They've been conditioned. So this is literally showing all the shit that's wrong and everything about it. And at the very end, it says, what did it say at the very end? It said, don't leave, watch you leave your children, your kids with. Yeah. So, I mean, that whole message in this whole video, it was totally missed, I think. I think we missed. I
feel like it's up to the viewer's discretion and how they perceive it, honestly. Because
is.
I don't know. Everybody's gonna have their own opinion on it. But at the end of the day, for me, and it's just my opinion, I just feel like you're pitting a child in a environment or a situation where they have to determine these things on their own. They might be able to go talk to somebody about it, whatever. But they still have to interpret these things.
You're making it bigger than what it then.
No, I'm just saying from a child's perspective, that's what it is.
And that's fair enough. I'm really not sitting here totally in disagreement with you.
Right.
My whole thing is that it's we're dealing with opinions and not true fact. But yeah, he's but
the devil's
my biggest problem with this is that we don't have all the facts. And what we got is a whole bunch of knee-jerk reactions, which is what social media is.
Definitely.
Right? And so the biggest question to me is why now? Because no matter how you look at it, right? when this all went down, at some point the parents had to have seen that video.
Definitely.
Whether they were there watching the recording or they didn't see it until later, even if they didn't see it until it went into production and was posted somewhere. Because what parent is not going to want to see some of that? Because the idea is that they're thinking, oh, they're going to hook my kids up. They're going to become actors and actresses.
money.
You know, they might get hooked up with Nickelodeon and all the rest of that, right? So that's what they're feeling. Now, if that's what you're thinking as a parent, you're going to be like, oh, shoot, okay, my kids just acted, you know, just in some scene or something, doing some acting, you know, whatever. Hey, can I get a copy so I can
Showing
show
all
my
my
people?
friends.
Yeah, exactly, right? You're going to see that.
Yeah.
So when they saw it then,
Why wasn't it an issue, right?
thank you.
See, and
So-
that's the money grab and the scapegoat of all this. That's the one thing that I will say that they should, if it was an issue then, they should have spoke on it then. But
See, I don't agree with if it was an issue, then speak on it then, because if we're gonna talk about real trauma hits differently, right? It's
Trauma
like
to who? The kid or the
it's like
parent?
I'm just saying it's like saying a rape victim, if they don't report the rape today, then they weren't raped. But again, like it's a you don't that. Hey,
I'm not umming that, but I'm just saying.
no, relax.
So wait, so are you saying that the parents might have been traumatized at the video and didn't know whether they should come out and do anything then until now? Is that what you're saying? Because
No,
It's too-
I'm no. All I'm saying about that conversation, we can't base real trauma, based off of when you report it. Right?
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
That's all I'm saying when it comes to trauma.
But this is my
But
thing.
what?
This is my thing with that.
said, but-
It happened
Buddy to
like
that.
D-Man just said. It happened back in 2014, right? So why wait all these years to say something about it now? So that was the money grab.
No,
That
but-
that whole
It could be a money grab.
No,
It could be.
We can't.
yeah,
You
we
don't
gotta
want to.
wait.
You tell us that we only talk about like you're really talking about a lot of stuff that you don't know.
I mean we don't. But
So quit calling it a money grab. You can't base trauma on the timeline that was reported.
I'm saying as far as the parents. That's what I'm saying.
But that's
I
what
know,
I know.
I know something
grandmother,
like that.
sister, auntie.
I know
cousin.
something like that happened to any of my kids or anything like that. I'm gonna report. Oh hell
But
no!
that's
Like,
how but you've never
Okay.
been through it before, so you don't know how the hell you act.
So it wasn't. So we're not gonna say it was a money grab on the parents'
So
side.
here's my question.
I would say it seems and it looks like that based off the timeline. But again, I'll also, with me saying that ignorant statement, I also understand that you can't base trauma on when on how long it takes you to report something or not, because it's going to hit you
So
differently.
wait, here's my question about the timeline of how all this came about. Was it dropped on? Was it fun, what's it?
Funny or die.
Funny
Was
or
it
Die.
dropped on Funny or Die by somebody first, and then the parents realized, oh, hey, you know, or was it the parents that dropped it on Funny or Die?
So see,
Funny or
actually, with
whatever.
that being said,
Whatever it's called.
it was on Funny or Die, and then I believe Funny or Die took it out in 2018, and somehow it got put back up on the internet. So could the parents have
Leaked it?
So
leaked
wait,
it
so it's been
for
on
this
Funny or-
controversy?
Definitely.
How long has Funny or Die existed?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So, but it's been on Funny or Die for a while. Is what you're telling me?
Right.
It's been on there for at least 4 years before they realized it was there and they took it down.
Okay, so wait.
And no one said anything about
So
it.
yeah, that's what I'm about to get to.
It's not that no one said it. It was not to a big enough place to where
It was a.
it was advertised.
Yeah.
So I don't know if someone said anything, but it wasn't advertised on this level. Again, it got removed on 2018 and it came back up recently, and that's how the world knows about it now.
Right.
Now it came back up, and then coincidentally, there's a trial. There's a lawsuit about it, right? So now we're having a lawsuit. We need to get this video out because the court of public opinion is sometimes harsher than actual court.
Yeah.
But it's because now we're in a civil situation, right? So in the civil cases, you all know you don't have to be proven guilty beyond reasonable
just need
doubt.
to be haunted.
You just need to tip the scale. That's all. You got to just tip the scale, right? So this is a different thing, right? But if someone really would have molested my child, I would want them in jail and prosecuted, not civilly. But again, they actually also asked for them to be arrested by the police. Based off of just a video like this, you can't arrest somebody because it's a skit. It's not reality.
Yeah, right.
It's not like they have like, it's not, you know what reality is? What video that was reality? R. Kelly pissing on that girl. That tape,
you see what happened to him, right?
that skit, or whatever you want to call it, was reality. Right?
He's in there.
Now, that is something that you can sit here and say, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
Right? That is reality. This right here is a skit.
I guess I'm looking at it from the ground surface of it when it comes to the exposure of the kids and how they memorize and how they affected them. That's how I'm looking at it.
How they look at it is like, I did a skit with Tiffany Haddish and
You mean
Harry
how
Spears.
the possibility of it affecting them?
Right. Because none of us know. None of us know. And like I said,
because again, the setup of the scenes, we don't really know how those scenes were set up. You know,
I did a scene with Tiffany Haddish and Harry Spears in their movies. They're not worried about what they did. They were like, I was in a scene with Tiffany Haddish and see the movie and stuff like that. Like, they're going to be excited. Now, again, grooming. You have to understand grooming. The word grooming is a process. It's not a one skit. Grooming is a process.
but it's still, but
there's no but to it. Like,
grooming is a process.
You can't
but
say
still,
but to everything, right? Grooming. we could acknowledge that grooming is a process. It's not a one skit.
Yeah. Grooming definitely is a process. But you have to acknowledge the fact that this may have an effect on the kids, bro. Like, you can't sit up here, whether they lying or not. You can't sit up here and act like you just said they probably.
I don't care what effect it has on the kids. The point
just
is
that money, right? We need that money.
This is not molesting, nor
No,
is
it's
this
definitely not.
grooming.
It's definitely
That is
not
the
molesting,
conversation, and people are mad at Tiffany Haddish and Harry Spears. And they're saying for the accusations and feel like this is a grotesque. This is a horrible thing. This is the worst skit I've ever seen. And it's not really that bad when you're looking at the message behind it. In my opinion, right? The message behind the art is bigger than the art. We're literally missing a message because there's a little boy in his underwear. And I've seen worse on the big screen in Hollywood, right?
See, that's what I'm saying. I know there's been movies and other shows where they've had kids in underwear and in some
kids kissing each other,
inappropriate scenes.
Two little boys, two little girls kissing. I'm not trying to say boys and girls kissing each other is bad because I don't want to villainize homosexuality. But little kids having sex, right, or initiating sex, right, or on big screen, or little kids murdering each other, right, or little kids, actually going into a room and the act of molestation about to take place, and there's a little boy in there, and the dad walking in the room and just pulling his pants down and taking his belt off, and the door closes, and there's a little kid on the bed just looking like this. There's commercials that we see like that, and these are like with the drama scene and the dun, dun, dun. It's real serious shit. And not is this a one day skit. These are like productions, 3-month movies, and this kid is living a life of the character who's being molested and raped and seeing all kinds of crazy shit. And we want to talk about this bullshit skit that was made from an Android phone.
How many times have we seen movies where they show kids getting abused by the father? So like the father's like whipping them and beating the crap out of them, in the movie.
Have y'all seen It? Have y'all seen It?
Those kids come out twisted.
Have y'all seen It?
Yeah, it's a perfect.
The girl was being molested by the dad. It was all kind of innuendos
Stranger
about
Things. Wasn't Stranger Things?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know if that one was a molestation. No.
No, not molestation. It was the abuse. I think the father was like abusing one of the brothers, and so the brother had to.
The one that died. Yeah. And the third one, that's the Max's brother. But that's the thing. It's we can go back and forth. It's so much stuff that is way worse than this. If we're gonna villainize the art and having kids in these situations, and they shouldn't be in this situation, there's a lot more art that we need to discuss and talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
And if that is the crime, then what is art? What is acting? What is a skit? What is reality? When are we going to understand that reality and fiction are not the same?
I feel like if the kid is able to determine.
You want to answer that question?
I'm about to.
Okay.
I feel like if the kid is able to determine the difference between reality and art and maintain that separate from reality, then that's when you could consider, okay, this is just art.
But a kid
But you have to take, whether it's a kid, a dog, whatever, you have to take that person's, I guess, experience and reaction or trauma into consideration.
A kid will never ever be able to determine if this is art or not. If they are,
So they don't have no business doing it then.
Let me
They don't
rephrase
have
it.
no
No.
business doing it. If they can't determine that, that's completely wrong.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
wrong.
not agreeing with you.
If
on
they
this.
can't
Hold on.
determine that, then
No.
it's wrong.
Let me rephrase that. A kid doesn't have the ability to determine their acting thing, right? Because they're a kid, right? So when you're 18, that's when you get a
Nah,
turn.
what about Keke Palmer? All
From-
these young artists.
When they were young, when they were
actors and
younger,
stuff.
a kid cannot legally sign a contract at all. That's just law. That's contract law number. Under 18, you can't. So all that stuff is going through their
Yeah,
parents,
well, yeah,
right?
but that-
So
that-
hold on, let me
effect
finish.
of it, that's-
But so I'm saying, so no, but what I'm saying is basically a kid can't give consent, right?
Right.
An adult has to give consent. So at this point, when you want to talk about responsibility, now we're talking about the consensual party who gave that consent. That would be the parents.
Right.
So if the parent is giving consent, they obviously feel, for one, they're giving consent because they feel like their child is able to handle what is about to happen, right? You asked me earlier, would I let my child do it? I wouldn't. I wouldn't let my child do it, because my child isn't at the age and the level of understanding to where they can handle that, right?
Right.
And it's not just where they can handle it. It's because it was a cheesy ass message. Now, if it was a better message and if it was better production and if it made sense, then yes, I would love to have my child in a PSA about anything because it's going to have meaning and substance and content. And I would like my child and daughter to be a part of that, right? But in something like this, on Funny or Die, on a comedy skit with my boy jacking off a toy truck, there's a way better way to get this message out.
But it is. It definitely is.
But to sit here and say this is grooming and molestation and stuff like that, like that's where I think it's a stretch. Because again, by the definition of grooming, unless there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, or if there's a lot more one-on-one, because remember, the woman that is the mother of the kids was a friend of Tiffany Haddish.
Mm-hmm.
They were close friends, right? So again, what else was going on behind this situation?
That's the thing. We don't know. We don't know. We probably won't ever know. But that's where the whole grooming comes into play because we don't know how
But they're
they were
basing it off the
rehearsing.
video, though.
They are basing the whole grooming and molestation just off that one video. But did they rehearse these scenes?
They should have. Yes, I'm pretty sure they did. I'm pretty sure it was a bunch of. I'm pretty sure this whole thing wasn't done in one take.
No,
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there was,
Yes,
make
they
mistakes and
rehearsed.
stuff. It's probably mistakes and stuff, but but okay, even if they did rehearse
It's
it,
normal
they
movie shit.
You repeating certain shit with a kid. Okay, it's him sitting there with take two,
wait,
take three.
Wait.
That's
Take
not
two,
grooming,
take three.
but you still
hold on. Take two. We want you to roll the truck on the floor. Cut. Take three. Roll the truck on the floor.
jack
Cut.
off that truck.
We ain't got to that part.
Yeah.
Yet. Roll the truck on the. Like, okay, how's that damaging the kid? Okay, you rolled. Now on the jack off part. Now if they said to the kid, "Jack the truck off," that's
Of course
different.
not, but
okay, but see,
as
no,
adults,
but-
you know
Yeah, the
you know what you're
adult
exposing
knows-
this kid to.
No.
You do.
No, listen.
Exposure
in order
is a
for the kid to
consistent
be
deal.
exposed to something, see, you got me out my mic. In order for the kid to be exposed to something, what the intention is has to be made. So if I tell the kid to take the truck and just go up and down like this, I'm not exposing him to nothing.
He has no
Unless
idea.
I
You
Just
say
let this
to
mind
him-
wander, huh?
No, but this is the thing. A
His mind ain't wondering.
a
I mean,
child,
if his mind's going, okay, I'm
a
from the truck.
7-year-old
But
child,
he's
and
not
all.
thinking sexual like you're thinking.
A 7-year-old
That's in your head, not in his.
A 7-year-old child, in all
perverted.
honesty, should have no idea what that motion on the truck
Right.
is. So if I'm telling, hey, so I'm gonna get this truck right, and we're gonna play it like this, like, we're gonna play it like, or whatever I'm gonna do, like this is what I want you to do, right?
Yeah.
A child's gonna do that like this, right? Yeah. A child doesn't think masturbation. As I'm doing this right now, I'm feeling my dick's getting stroked, right? But that's I'm a 40-year-old man. A 7-year-old child doing this, I'm pretty sure unless they've already been exposed to it before.
Yes, that's
My
the
fault,
only way.
Spinelli. My fault.
And then that ain't on. That ain't
rub you and
on.
shit.
That wouldn't be on Haddish and Aries if that's
That'd be on
the case.
parents or
You know what I'm
whomever
saying?
else.
If he's already thinking
All right,
that,
so that-
something else happened before that.
So
But we're not gonna have that conversation, right? If we're gonna blame this skit, if we're gonna blame this skit on all the accusations that's coming out, and we're not gonna talk about nothing else, right? Like, and that's why I think it's very irresponsible for people to do it. At this point, we're not even looking at art. At this point, we're not even looking at content. At this point, we're judging what content and art should be put out there before you're understanding and actually looking at. A lot of people have already made an accusation on this and haven't even seen the videos. Right? Most people have a thought about what they did based off of a headline. We know what clickbait is. We start titling our shows based on clickbait to make people jump into it and and now we're already acting and feeling bad about a situation and we have no idea what it is. Again, I'm not saying my only issue with this is I think Funny or Die was the wrong place to drop this message, right?
should put it on Daily Motion. No.
Pornhub and shit, right? Funny or Die is probably the wrong place to put this message on. And if they're gonna have a message again with such, because again, she was showing a bad mother, she was showing a lot of bad things that actually exist. There should have been a bigger PSA message at the end of it, right? An actual conversation that no animals were harmed in Georgia in the making of this film. Right?
Oh man,
Booty house was penetrated.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There should have been a bigger message at the end. But as far my take on it, man, and that's my take. I've already said it like 4 or 5 times. We're fucking up as a society, and that's why I sat here and said I blame everybody on this one because like there's so much. Again, I'm repeating. There's so much content in it, and we're not allowing people to be artists no more.
right?
Right?
And me and you pretty much came to the same conclusion, just a different way. Because my whole thing is the knee-jerk reaction of everybody as soon as they see it because they're biased already by someone else saying something. So rather than looking at it and going, okay, well, I need all the details. People are putting information out there and their opinions about something,
And they don't
have
even know.
details
Yeah,
on.
they don't know
Right.
anything. And
Exactly.
And that's
and everybody
what.
else is jumping on board.
And that's what
on the
pushes
bandwagon.
the narrative towards molestation and grooming. When
Right.
people do stuff like that, you
and
don't
you
have
jumped right on
information.
it.
You just you want to say you're right.
Honestly,
You're right, Marcel. They groomed the shit out these little boys. You're right. You're right.
All,
You're right.
all I'm
I
saying
see it
is,
now.
so this is my conclusion to all this. What I'm saying is, whether you look at it as grooming, whether wherever, it don't. At the end of the day, you still have to acknowledge the fact that these skits or rehearsal for a skit could have had an effect on these kids. You have to be cautious about what you're willing to have around your kids and what you're willing for them to experience as they grow up. It's part of rearing a child. When you're showing a child how to be a good person or how to be a boy or girl, whatever, you want to make sure that you're showing them the right way. So you exposing them to certain stuff like this, not taking into consideration, like, I wonder how he's going to feel about this when he turns 14, even though this happened when he was 6. It's stuff like that. Everything can't always be for the money or for the fame or just for, he's going to be on Nickelodeon. You have to really start taking these kids' like emotions and feelings into accountability for yourself as a parent, as a society, honestly.
And the crazy thing about it, though, as honest of your statement you made in the video, it shows that a parent not taking the child's life into consideration by leaving the child to go out and party, do whatever she was doing. Everything you just said that parents need to do was depicted in that video.
You know what? I just thought about
In that skit. Everything you said is shown in this skit.
But hey, that was a skit. She didn't do that in reality, obviously, or the child probably wouldn't have been in that skit, right?
The point of the skit, which is probably why she said, I'm going to pick you and your sorry ass kid because you're a sorry ass mother.
This is the perfect.
So, I agree with everything that's being said. However, I when you look at that little skit, the thing that I feel like is missing is that you would have to say for Tiffany's role. Anyways,
Tiffany Haddish.
yeah.
You know, nobody named.
How? Yeah, no, I don't give a about any of them. Is how would you be able to tell whether an adult is doing something shady or not. Like they didn't go there with it. You know what I'm saying? So because let's be honest, and a lot of to be in defense for a lot of people, you can't just tell just like looking at a person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times parents don't know until the kid says something, right? Because it's all being done behind closed doors.
I definitely
and the pedophile is being slick about it. He's not going to act.
He's not gonna
weird
be
in
out in the
front of
open.
you.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
So yeah, I think it would have been nice if they would have tried to add something, in there about
Like a little
that,
message or something for sure.
Yeah, the message at the end for me it was enough because it let it be known, and once the message happened, I understood the point of it because I looked at it for what it is. I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't even make it to that last part to where they saw the message, which is another issue. But again, my only issue with the whole thing, right? Because I've seen worse on regular TV.
Yeah.
Is Funny or Die should probably not have been the place for it. And I get it. There's some satire and some funniness to it. R. Kelly. So I get it. I get the funniness part, right?
Yeah.
And maybe Funny or Die was the right place. It just, I wish people would have got the message. And not only do I wish people would have gotten the message, but there's a place to go to get help. When you're in situations like this, and that's one of those things where you have to communicate and talk. Don't be afraid to tell on Uncle Pete. Don't be afraid to run from Uncle Pete. Don't be afraid to tell Daddy. If you're gonna be in a situation like that, don't let them be like, well, if you tell your parent, I'm gonna kill your parent. I'm gonna do some bad. Like, don't be afraid of that threat. It's just a lot of situations are going in households that shouldn't be going on. And there's a place, 911, probably the best place. Tell your counselor at school, tell your teacher, tell everyone, tell somebody. And believe it or not, you're not alone in situations like this. This happens more often than you would think it happens. And if you're watching this and if you're in a situation like that, which I hope you're not at 11 o'clock at night, but if this message does get to you, this video gets to you and you're going through a situation like this, don't seek help, seek authority, right? Seek someone that can get you
out of that situation.
That can get you out of the situation, because that's not a situation that should be in anyone's heart, anyone's life, or anybody's experience.
there it is.
That's all I got, man. What you got?
Said it all.
Yeah, I think you got to get it all for me. I think we just need to be more responsible about the environment and the upbringing of a lot of our kids. They're the future. You got to make sure that they have their the emotions and mental state in order as much as possible anyway, in order for us to grow and be a productive member of society. A lot of kids, they don't have the opportunity to go, and when stuff is like that happening to them, they don't have the opportunity to tell anybody, or they feel like, oh, I can't tell my mom, I'm gonna get in trouble, I can't tell this person, I'm gonna get in trouble, or whatever. Or they think like, oh, just because this may be a relative or a close friend in the family, that they're supposed to do this, or they feel like, oh, I can't tell anybody because they're not gonna believe me. You just gotta keep a close eye on certain things that's happening around your child at all times, because there is sickos out here, and you gotta be very aware of that.
And to be honest with you, people out there, like these sickos that exist, they're most likely and probably some of the closest people to you. So just because your mother can be a sicko, your dad can be a sicko, your brother can be a sicko, and from statistics it shows that most of the sickos are those people in your family. So it's love is love, man. But at some point you have to identify what isn't love and rectify that situation. And again, don't find help, find authority, find the proper authority and get that help. What you got, Darius?
Well, I think you guys made great points, so I'm not even going to cover that because there's nothing else more to say about that. I will say this: when I look at it, I cannot get past the reaction of the people.
Oh, freak!
That is the part with social media that aggravates me about this. So my what I want to say to everyone is to not be so quick to to react to things that you see in social media. Take time, step back, make sure you got information before you say, because you're influencing people's lives. We don't know everything that was done. We don't know everything that was done in this skit. So we can't, make these harsh judgments about Ari Spears and Tiffany Haddish, because we don't know all the details and all the facts. And we should wait till all of that comes out before we make opinions. But now we're, making these opinions and impacting their lives, and we don't know what's true and what's not true. So that for me is something I wish people would be. But I know how social media works, and the way you get the clicks on them likes is something negative.
And this isn't
all the
and what you're saying is not a defense. You're not defending Aries Spears or Tiffany. You're just
Right,
saying wait for the
exactly.
facts. It's not a defense.
Right, exactly. Because then you can make your opinion based on facts.
Based on facts, as it is. So, and that's what we're gonna leave y'all with. Please, when it comes to art, guys, understand art. Art is to be understood, not judged. If you don't like it, scroll the fuck on.
Yes.
We're out. Peace.
Now,
Yeah.
please.